Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Zudi Pickups. In today's video, we'll be talking about the Clearweather Wampas in the Timber, aka Gucci colorway. So these shoes came out quite a long time ago, September 2017 to be exact, but there have been a couple of re-releases, and my version is from the latest re-release, which was I think the end of 2019. They retailed for a hefty price of $350, but I gotta say, you do get a lot of shoe for your money here. So yeah, let's start talking about the shoe. But actually, before we start talking about the shoe, I would like to talk a little bit about the brand itself, Clearweather, because I feel like a lot of people are not as familiar with this brand as some of the bigger brands. If you guys want to skip to me talking about the shoe, I'll leave the timestamp in the description down below. But yeah, Clearweather is a kind of like an independent, smallish shoe company that is headquartered locally here in Southern California. I believe they're in Santa Ana to be exact. And they were founded by two brothers, the Brubaker brothers. In between the two of them, they have a pretty impressive pedigree. They've both been working at a bunch of big shoe companies before they launched Clearweather together. Companies like Converse, Vans, Soltech. Soltech is the company behind Etnies, Emerica, those guys. So yeah, you could definitely say the two guys have a lot of shoe wear design experience under their belts, and you can definitely see it in the designs of the Clearweather shoes. I personally first found Clearweather through their skate shoes. So they have this line of skate shoes with kind of like suede patches along the ollie zones, and their kind of catchphrase is suede where you need it, and it really works. I thought it was pretty unique and the shoes look cool, so I started buying them. I didn't even know they were a local company until later, and I found out that they had a bunch of sick lifestyle sneakers as well, so that's how I actually got into the brand. And this shoe, specifically the Wampa, had really caught my eye for a long time, and I've been wanting to pull the trigger for this for the last couple of years, and end of 2019 I finally got myself a pair, and here it is right here. So yeah, let's talk about the actual shoe itself. So as you can see, the Wampa is essentially a super heavy duty duck boot. That's basically what it is. I think it definitely takes a lot of design inspiration from the Yeezy 950 boot. I don't know if you guys remember that. It was like this like super chunky moon boot looking thing that Kanye came out with a long time ago. And obviously that boot took a lot of inspiration from the classic LL Bean boot, which is, you know, like the granddaddy of all duck boots. So this shoe definitely shares, I think, a lot of the genetics from those two shoes kind of like fused into one. But I mean, this shoe definitely has a look to it that is unique to the Wampa. So starting off with the upper here, the upper, as you can see, takes the classic two material design that you see in all the duck boots. You have the leather top portion, and then you have the ruggedized rubber bottom portion. So this rubber bottom portion is actually pretty interesting. If you look close, you can see that there is a vertical kind of like texture on it. It's like a vertical stripe texture almost, and you can't really see this unless you're looking at it really up close, but when you do see it, it really adds to that whole like rugged feeling. I think basically what they did was they got this like rugged textured rubber and just wrapped the entire bottom of the shoe, and that's why the texture of the rubber, you can see, is like still alive to this day. The toe is a little bit rigid. It's not like a steel toe boot or anything like that, but they did definitely add some sort of like rigid reinforcement just right around the toe box right here. However, the rest of the bottom of the shoe here, there's really nothing else except for the rubber, which lends to a pretty good deal of flexibility. I mean, this shoe doesn't look very comfortable from the outside, but when you're actually wearing it, it is pretty comfortable. It is a very flexible shoe. So moving our way upwards to the leather portion of the upper here, you can see that the leather is, it's actually a really high quality leather. It feels great. It's a waterproof leather, and you can see that the leather has been triple stitched to the rubber portion of the shoe. On top of that, The tongue is also a gusseted tongue, as you can see here, meaning that no water can come in through the sides of the tongue into your shoe once you get this laced up. So, I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but all these themes, like, you know, the triple stitching, the waterproof leather, the ruggedized rubber, gusseted tongue, like, this shoe is actually a waterproof rugged shoe. I mean, I know a lot of these types of shoes that look this way, just kind of like look this way just for the aesthetics, but this shoe has the aesthetics and the functionality. I've worn this out in the rain. Fortunately, I'm in Southern California, so I haven't worn it in the snow, but I'm sure it'll perform well in the snow. The water cannot penetrate this shoe whatsoever. So it's definitely nice to know that it has that functionality aspect down. However, that being said, this is definitely not a slouch in the aesthetics department either. So here, right down the middle of the tongue, you got this red nylon strap. It's kind of like a tongue pull tab. And here on the back, you have a red heel pull tab here. The heel pull tab is made out of leather. And I definitely think that these two kind of hits of red add a really nice pop of color, really helping the aesthetics of the shoe a lot. So moving on to the laces. The laces are just pretty kind of standard black rope laces, but I would like to point out that while there isn't any speed lacing holes here, it is pretty easy to lace this up. What I do is I usually like put a little knot on the tip of the laces, and you can just kind of like go like this, loosen up the upper, get your shoe out, and once you're ready to wear it, you can just pull it all the way closed and it'll tighten up pretty easily like that. So very easy operation there, just taking the shoe on and off, because that's like a pretty big pain point for me anyway when I'm wearing boots. So finally, one last bit of design detail here on the upper. You have the Clearweather logo and Clearweather branding debossed right into the leather, right above the lateral side heel. So that pretty much wraps up the exterior of the upper. Let's dive into the inside of the shoe, see what's going on in here. So the inside of the shoe, you can see that there is a nice kind of like upholstered fabric lining. So your skin never touches the inside of the leather or the inside of the rubber. That would be super unpleasant. The fabric lining, it's kind of like the same color as the leather, but you can see here if I open it up, you can see this is the inside of the leather right there, and you can see this is the inside of you can see this is the upholstery. The upholstered material just goes all the way down. It's just like one piece, and goes all the way down and pretty much covers the entire inside of the shoe where your foot touches, so it also adds to the pleasantness of wear, and I think that also adds another degree of comfort when you're wearing the shoe. And moving to the bottom of the inside of the shoe, you also have a fully removable custom insole with Clearweather branding. So now let's move on outside the shoe again to what I think is the highlight of this shoe, the piece de resistance. It is the outsole. The super rugged lugged outsole. So I think this is what really makes the Wampa, this like crazy outsole, this like exaggerated outsole that we have going on here. So it is a Vibram outsole, as you can see here. It's a Vibram gum light outsole, meaning that it has the look and feel of like a traditional gum outsole, but it is definitely much lighter than what you would kind of expect from a chunky looking shoe like this. I mean, the shoe is actually like somewhat light for a boot. I think what really makes this outsole are these channels cut along vertically and horizontally here, kind of making these like square patterns. You can see you have the kind of like the diagonal cross patterns here inside the squares. But when you see the shoe from the side or the front, you can see the channels just kind of cutting into the outsole, and that really adds to that whole rugged look. And on top of being like giving it that aesthetic look, it really helps with like the ability of the outsole to bend. So the outsole bends pretty easily thanks to all these channels cut vertically and horizontally throughout the outsole. So, you know, it's kind of like one of those like two birds with one stone type of moments. And yeah, I think, you know, they just like really knocked it out of the park with this outsole. I just love this outsole. And when I'm wearing this, I feel like I have like tanks on my feet and I can just like walk across anything. So yeah, I think that pretty much covers all the things I have to say about the inside and outside of the shoe. Let's talk about sizing and comfort. How well does this shoe fit and how comfortable is it? First of all, with sizing, the shoe fits extremely small. You have to size one full size up. I would even say like almost 1.5 sizes up. So I normally wear a 13 in Nikes. This is a size 14 and it is kind of small. It does fit a little tight because as you can see, the shoe is somewhat narrow. So I would recommend definitely sizing one size up. If you have a wide foot, maybe even size 1.5 size up. So, you know, the shoe fits that small. Even on their website, it actually says size up one full size. I don't know why they wouldn't just like relabel the shoes to be one size bigger at this point, but I don't know. So yeah, go up one size. However, when it comes to comfort, this shoe actually like really took me by surprise. It fits super comfortably. The whole tagline for this boot is a boot that wears more like a sneaker. And when I first read that, I was like, I don't really buy that. But now that I've been wearing it for a couple of months, I kind of agree. The boot feels very much like a sneaker. I think it's a combination of multiple elements. The rubber upper here, it's actually not as like thick and rigid as it looks. It looks like really sturdy, but because it's rubber, it bends and stretches. So when your foot is in there, it kind of like conforms to your feet and moves around really well. So this kind of like rubber part up here is pretty comfortable. And like I mentioned earlier, you have the channels, the grooves in the outsole that really help it bend. So the outsole is pretty bendy and flexible. And I think the thing that really makes a big difference is this custom insole here. The insole, as you can see, I mean, it's just not some like flimsy piece of foam. This is actually like pretty well engineered. It's very squishy. It has like really good rebound. And I think it reminds me a lot of Vans Ultra Cush. So here also on the heel, I don't know if you can see this, but there's kind of like an oval here, and this feels like even more reboundy. It almost feels like a Nike Zoom Air pocket. And like this super high rebound squishy foam mixed with this Zoom Air thingy, it really creates a very comfortable ride. I mean, you can definitely tell the guys that designed this shoe have their background in skateboarding, because this is pretty much like how a lot of skate shoe insoles kind of look like. And I think it overall adds a lot to the comfort of the shoe. So yeah, all in all, I give it like really high points for comfort. I would say it feels like very much like wearing an Air Force One high. It's more comfortable than a Jordan 1. Is it more comfortable than something like Boost or React? I mean, not quite there, but just one level under, I think. And for kind of like the ruggedness and protection that you get from wearing this shoe, that's like a pretty good trade-off in my opinion. So yeah, I think I said everything I need to say about this shoe. This is a super cool looking, super rugged and functional shoe. If you live in a colder climate, I think this is like a no-brainer. For someone like me that lives in Southern California, I obviously can't get the most utility out of this shoe, but I can still get the cool fits out of it, so that's something. So at the end of the day, I guess the big question is this shoe worth $350? Because that's a ton of money for a pair of shoes, even for a pair of boots. Honestly, that's a question only you can answer. For me, I really love this shoe, so I think it was worth it for me. But yeah, I mean, if you think you can actually wear this out in the snow rather than the rain, I'd say go for it. It's a sick shoe. So yeah, I'm gonna throw these on feet so you guys can see what they look like. And if you have any questions about this shoe, please leave them in the comments down below. So once again, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next one. Bye.